On this day in history, 1964, the Warren Commission report concluded that there was no conspiracy in the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. I think about this a lot. Not the conspiracy thing, but the gruesome death thing. Of all the horrible ways to die, I think healthy eating sounds the most painful. Live from Wattpad Nation, it's the Corner Booth. Welcome to Season 2. We have something for you that it kind of coincides with what we're doing for this particular episode. It's called The Comeback, Episode 26, and it is all about, well, let's just say you took a break, needed to step away from the writing. How do you get back into the swing of things? And for our season premiere, the panel is going to share their experiences about refining the rhythm. And speaking of panel, we have four amazing ladies for you tonight. We have Sarah Benson, Lindsey Lippincott, Kelly Ann Blount, and Ashlyn McCowan. And as, you know, kind of an icebreaker, we're going to do something a little fun, hopefully. We'll see how that goes. But at the top of every broadcast, we do these things. They're called the high five, and it's a way of, you know, like I said, breaking the ice, getting you introduced to this panel in a very fun way. I want to thank everybody who's participating on the live chat. I'm going to try to participate as much as I can. Let's see. I know we have Lucy, we got Carl, Lisa, Ricky, Jody's here. Wow, we got a lot of people, and of course the panel's playing on it too. So if at any time you do have a question for the panel, you can ask it there. We will address it in real time, or you can use our hashtag TCBWatt on Twitter. If you're watching this as a rebroadcast, a recording later on in the week, you can always drop us a message in the comments section below, or again, use our hashtag, and we'd love to get back to you. So without further ado, we're going to try this hopefully a good thing, right, guys? This is going to be fun. I don't know about everybody else, but for me, I was a huge fan of Boggle, and let's see if this actually works. I really want it to. Okay, so that's that. I am really, really hoping this works. Like I said, we're still experimenting with new and fun things. Okay, can everybody see that? Yes, no, maybe?
No.
It's a black screen.
It's a black screen? No! Okay. There's got to be a better way to do this. I know there is. Okay. Hang on. Give me 1 second. If you've ever played the game Boggle, I invite you to play along with us. You're going to have 60 seconds to solve a puzzle. I'm really hoping that I can get this puzzle to start. Let's try it this way. With okay. So it is a 4x4 grid, 16 letters, and this panel is going to try to make the longest words possible as opposed to the most words, because I believe in them as writers. I really want this to work. Ooh, there it goes. Okay, so cancel. Okay, let's try this one more time. Please work. Can you see that?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay.
One way.
Wait.
No, you can. Can you?
Had
Yes,
it.
no?
Gone now.
Okay. All right. Hang on. We might pull this off. This is great. Okay. So, like I said, I am going to time you, panel, for 16 seconds. Hopefully, you let me know if you cannot see it when I start the clock. And here we go. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has to stay up on you, Nat.
Is it not?
There we go.
There we go. Yeah.
I believe in you. I believe in you. You can do it. You got about 35 seconds left.
Oh. Oh, what are we doing?
And we are done. Okay. All right. So I am just going to start down the line. Miss Ashlyn McCowan, what are some of the longest words that you have? Just to give you a audience members and panel, there are 259 words that are 4 letters or longer on this puzzle. Can you tell me some of the ones that you think might be the longest?
Okay, I realized what we were doing at 30 seconds, so full disclosure here. The longest word I got was square.
Ooh,
That
okay.
was, yeah.
Square.
I got,
All right,
that
Kelly,
was the
can you
longest
beat
word I
square?
got.
I have scorned.
Scorned. Okay,
Ooh.
hang on. I know that was a good one. I forget exactly how many points it was.
7.
Scored
Okay, so
7.
they say that it's a 5-point score. I don't know how this is actually structured point-wise. Okay, Lindsay, can you beat scorned?
I cannot, and the other words that I found I probably shouldn't say out loud.
You said it on the live chat. They were saying that they thought that they had seen a swear word or something like that. Sarah, what'd you find?
I did not get one longer than scorned. But I
Oh,
five letters.
man.
I know.
So Kellyanne Blount,
So,
you got
I think Kelly's the big winner.
you got the bragging rights.
So,
Woo woo! Someone
Congratulations.
beat us though in the comments.
nice.
Oh, who beat us? Who beat us?
Let me see, where did it go? It was scoundrel. I just saw it and now I can't see
Ooh.
it again. Somebody won.
Scoundrel.
But it's okay. I'll retain
Really?
my I don't
Scoundrel
know.
was in there. That's a good one.
Is it
I think the longest one that I saw as far as the solver goes is ponderous. So if you're watching this as a recording and you found the word ponderous, congratulations. You're a lot smarter than all of us. So now that's moving on to what we call the portion of the broadcast, which is called Cream or Sugar. And it's my favorite part of the broadcast because it gives us a chance to put you, Wattpad Nation, in the spotlight. And this panel this week is going to share some of the stories that have been taking up space in their library and also on their minds. Lindsey Lippincott, who would you like to give a shout out for this week?
My shout out is going to Alicia Stone on Wattpad. It's not really for a book in particular, although she does have her own story on Wattpad, but it's mainly for what she does for others on Wattpad. She's a writer, but she's also a co-founder. She also co-founded a publishing company, and she published one of her books through that, which is also the one that you can find on her profile. But even with all of that, she still helps the Wattpad community and its writers by hosting a weekly Book of the Week, or BOTW. So writers can nominate their own story as long as they follow the rules, which is voting for the chapter and following her. And once they nominate their story, she, at the end of the week, will go in and she will collect those, and then she'll give them a read, and then she will pick 4 that are Book of the Week. And then I believe at the end of the month, she will go in and she will look at all of the ones that won Book of the Week, and then she will pick a Book of the Month. And then she features all of these from the Book of the Week to the Book of the Month. She features all of them on her blog, so they get outside exposure.
That is too cool. We love that kind of just exposure. That is, I don't want to say that it's forced, but it's definitely something that with the story fair that we just happened to stumble across a few weekends ago. That was amazing because it was just people who really believed in, hey, let's help these people by giving them a platform to share their stories. So that's really awesome. Miss Kelly, who do you have for us?
So I've got my buddy Mikey, Michael Weekly. on Wattpad. And Mystical is a novel that I'm going to give a shout out to. Mystical revolves around Eliza Rose, a witch and an assassin. Eliza has some major life decisions to make in this story and some secrets to figure out, and also a magical world filled with fairies, mermaids, and elves is where the story takes place. So I love that. It's exciting. And I really enjoyed, I just started reading his book, and I really enjoyed it. It's filled with vivid sensory details, and Michael's world building is on point. For this reason and many more, I definitely recommend checking out Mystical by Michael Weekly.
Thank you, Miss Kelly. Ashlyn, who do you got for us? Can you hear us, Ashlyn?
Oh, okay. I missed it. Sorry.
Who you got?
Okay, so my first shout out is going to be Storm and Silence by Rob Fear, at Rob Fear on Wattpad. So it's basically about this heroine that is completely fantastic. She's just courageous and she's hysterical, and she's a feminist, very staunch for women's rights. And she falls in love, and it's sort of a story about rebelling against gender hierarchies, and she ends up getting a job. It's like set in Victorian England. And it becomes almost a story of an employee falling in love with their boss, but it stays away from that due to kind of the setting, and then holds to the themes of feminism and equality, which a lot of those books that kind of have that relationship struggle with. So I think it's very witty, and it's educational because the guy that writes it includes notes at the end of every chapter about kind of the definitions that he's used in the chapter, so I would definitely recommend that. And then my second one is called Flow by Olivia Harvard at Lovely Livy. And so the summary is Holden Peters adventures through the complicated contemporary context of teenage love and discovers the challenges with falling for a girl who felt like she was born in the wrong time. So I read this a long time ago, and I kind of scrolled back through my library and realized that this deserved a shout out. So it's a contemporary young adult love story, and the main character, the female love interest, is just kind of strange and different and beautiful, and this guy falls in love with her. And the thing I liked about it was it wouldn't necessarily happen in real life, but the author has managed to take something that wouldn't happen in real life maybe necessarily and place that into the story, and it works, and it's beautiful. So I would definitely recommend that.
Fantastic. Thank you, Miss Ashlyn. And Sarah Benson, who do you got for us? Sarah, who do you have for us? Hello? Sarah, can you hear us?
We're good.
Okay.
Can you hear me? We good?
Kind of. You're breaking up a little, but I'm not sure if
Right.
it's your connection or mine.
Okay.
But just go for it. I believe
I'll
in
go
you.
for it. You stop me if you can't hear me. Okay, great. So the one I've chosen is, as probably a lot of people have seen on Wattpad, it's super popular, and the author Sam McGregor, I chatted with them, guy from Australia, and it's one of those books that's been in my library. I've been meaning to get to for a long time, and so I finally picked it up and started it, and it is really a lot of fun to read. So the story begins with a body washing up on shore, and these two girls find it and try to figure out what they're going to do with this body. Well, the body is assassin, and I don't know what it is, but lately I seem to be reading a lot of female assassin books, so I don't know what's up with that. Maybe that's like the new thing. So, but anyway, Regan, it's what's cool. What I really like about this story is I really love characters who are conflicted, and in this story, she is basically, this is kind of an opportunity to leave her past behind her and start fresh. Of course, life isn't going to be that simple. And so I really like stories in which there's kind of a moral dilemma going on when you're really, really good at something that you're not sure you want to do anymore. And so anyway, I am loving the story so far. I'm not terribly far into it yet, but I think there's a reason why I enjoyed it. So I highly recommend you read along with me and check out Sam McGregor's book.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah.
Okay.
Awesome. Yes. So that is hopefully we can do more of those screen shares because I think there's something really, really great about having those covers and being able to share them with you. So now we are going to the meat of the discussion, which we call the entree. It's just a series of questions that we ask this panel every single week. And like I said, this episode is all about the comeback. And before we really, really dig into this, we did get a message on the Tweety. It was from, I believe, our good friend Ricky Pine. He says, if you take a break on a big project, do you find yourselves rushing to complete others just to get back to the big one? Kelly, can you answer that for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have taken breaks before from writing when finishing a book. I do usually like to go right into the next one. However, I have a book that I'm working on right now. I'm a little over a quarter of the way through, and I kind of feel anxious, like I have some level of anxiety because I know I need to finish it, but I have to finish another book first. So I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, but at the same time, I'm just trying to keep it in check and keep it together and know that when it gets done, it'll get done, and hopefully my fans will really like it. Uh-oh, I think we're frozen. Nat, are you there?
All right. Is Nat dropped out?
I think so. Lindsay, you want to take over?
So we're on the first question. Sarah, you go.
All right, I'll do that, Lindsay. Okay, so the experience that came to me with this question was, so after I finished writing, it was like, yes, I got through this, and so I was feeling pretty like amazing, like I just climbed a mountain or something. And so I gave it to my husband to read, and it comes back with like tons of red ink, and it was like this depressing moment where it was just like, not only have I not climbed the mountain, I am just at a point where I can see it like in front of me, and I'm going to have to go up that before I actually have climbed the mountain. And so anyway, I actually quit writing for a period of time because I was just like, I don't even know how to tackle this thing. It just seems too overwhelming, too much to deal with. I have too much that I need to work on, and you know, a lot of, when it comes to writing, a lot of it is in your mind at. And so yeah, I was in a little bit of a funk for a while with that, and then what really helped me was that I pulled away from the story for a while and thought about the things that I wanted to work on with my writing, get stronger at my weak areas. And so then I that had nothing to do with each other, but just to work on those areas that I felt like I needed to improve. And so after I had done that, it kind of, I think more than anything, it just got me back into that writing vibe again, without any pressure to perform. No one was ever going to read anything that I was writing, but it helped me get you know, the just day-to-day practice of it. And then once I'd done that, I moved back to my edits for Born a Shadow, and I think that that was very helpful, because had I tried to just tackle the mountain, which was like the edit of an entire book, it would have just been too much at that stage. And so anybody who is in a block with a story or something is find a way to take the pressure off, and do something you enjoy that inspires you. Whether it's like looking at pictures on Pinterest or walking out in nature or whatever it is just find whatever ways to relieve the pressure. Traveling really sparks my imagination a lot. When I'm in new locations, learning new things, it gets me all excited, and it tends to get me back in the writing mode again. So, and then just start writing something, whatever it is, even if it's like a diary or a journal or a letter. Any form of writing will help you get back into that state where you want to get back on your story again. that's basically what I did and what helped me actually get through and finally get Born Shadow to a readable state.
Fantastic. Sorry, everybody, for dropping out. Sarah, were you the first person to answer?
Am I the first? No. Well, let me think.
Yes? No?
Yes.
Yeah.
Has anybody else answered question number one?
I think so.
No.
I don't think so. I was going to say, I think
Okay.
I'm the first. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? You always remember your first time. With question number one, just so I can get back into the swing of things, tell us about a time when you struggled to get back to writing after taking a break. How did you find footing to once again put words on the page? Now that Sarah's answered question one, can I scoot over to Lindsey?
You can. So
Yeah, will it be effective, hopefully?
we'll see. Because I'm trying a different approach because I always seem to stutter whenever I have a fully thought out, written down answer. So I kind of thought about them, but I did not write down. So we'll see how this goes. Yeah. So when I struggling to get back writing, my life right now is pretty much a struggle to get back into writing with classes, internships, work, and everything. I guess I'm constantly taking little breaks, but a lot of times I need to talk out what I'm having issues with, like talk to my roommate or the class of 2014 to figure out what I'm trying to do and if what I'm trying to do is effective. I mean, once I know that what I am doing sounds solid, I can usually start getting back into the swing of writing. But I guess I'm really hesitant with my own abilities. I'm not really sure if what I'm doing is actually good, if it'll make sense, if it'll actually go somewhere and be worthwhile for someone to read. So I guess talking it out and making sure that what I'm trying to do is all of those things, and then I can usually get back into the flow.
You know what? I didn't hear you stutter once. I think you're gold. Miss Ashlyn McCowan.
All right. So this question is a little bit ironic because actually right now I'm struggling to pull myself back into a writing phase after just being completely overwhelmed with life and facing kind of setbacks as I pursue publication for my novel, which has been a difficult road. So I'm kind of searching for a new idea right now and finding the motivation to write again after, I'm getting into the swing of things. So one of the ways that I've begun to explore kind of opening myself up to writing new things is by expressing my creativity in different ways. So when I can't write, I've started painting. I have started putting together clothing because I find the visual kind of helps me work through things. I know it's kind of strange. And I just kind of attempt to channel, like if I'm feeling really positive and really creative, attempt to channel that into something so I'm not just sitting around wasting creativity. So practical steps to actually go from creating something to writing would be making a Word document of ideas. I have about 4 story ideas I'm working on right now, and I just put them in a big file. And I'm going to go through and try to find common themes or characters I keep returning to. Just kind of see what I'm resonating. And then I've been sort of critically watching television. I don't know if that's a thing, but I've been trying to do that. And making like a wall of quotes.
It's gotta be.
Inspiring stuff. And a big thing I've seen is talking to people that I wouldn't necessarily talk to or be interested in, and just kind of finding different types of people, because everyone leads kind of this unique, compelling life, and unless you step outside kind of your circle of comfort, you might not necessarily see that and become inspired by those people. So that's what I've been trying to do to make a comeback myself.
I love that. Like, it's thinking outside the box, living outside your comfort zone. That's fantastic advice. I love it. Kaylee and Blount, can you round out this question for us?
I sure can. So, as many of you know, earlier this year, or maybe you don't, I came down with a really bad case of bronchitis. And then after that, I came down with an even worse case of shingles. And it was really bad. I could barely get out of bed. I struggled to work, and I had a really hard time doing anything because of the pain. It was so bad. And so it took me over 5 months to be able to function somewhat normally and get back into my writing. And even then, it still wasn't at my regular pace. So I ended up finding my footing again based on my support team from my friends and family and fans and everybody on Wattpad. And, you know, people did everything from sending me care packages, like Jessica B. Fry is the best person ever. She sent me the sweetest card.
So awesome.
And she sent me a Get Better Soon package, which was so sweet. I got notes of encouragement and, you know, just readers and fans saying how much they enjoyed reading my books and that they really hoped I could update soon, but they understood because I was sick. So it was really sweet, and it all in all together really helped me find my footing again. But Wattpad was, you know, the main push behind it, and just having the support of everyone there and knowing that they were, you know, cheering for me to get better and cheering for me to get back and writing again.
The best cheerleaders are on Wattpad by far, and I think their captain is Jessica Fry. She's just ridiculously awesome. Ladies, we did get a question from our friend Rosa May. Lindsey and Ashlyn, I'm going to throw this one to the both of you. Hey girls, do you write short stories, teasers, flash fictions, vignettes, or scripts based on your characters to complement? So Lindsey, if you want to start off with that.
Based on the characters what?
Based on your characters to complement.
I mean, I think the only time that I've written a short story that went with my original ones was the bit that I wrote for the Wattpad block party. I mean, sometimes I will. I'm actually writing. I'm starting to write Bridge of Souls, but I decided that I was going to do like a little prequel to try and get more into my character's head. So I wrote, or it's going to be about 4 chapters. I'm working on writing the last chapter now. So it's kind of how the main character got to where she is when the actual book starts. So I mean, if I do those things, I've done a few of them. I don't normally publish them, but I do them for myself to try and understand my characters more so that I can write them better for my published chapters.
So it's kind of like a writing exercise?
Yeah.
Ashlyn. Ashlyn?
Okay. So when I'm not updating something sometimes, or when I'm editing a book but I'm not updating it, I will release edited scenes as teasers. But I tend not to write sort of flash fiction or anything off of my books just because I find it kind of distracting to like what I was originally trying to write. I mean, that's a little bit strange, but I feel like trying to put sort of what I've written into a short story, it just distracts me from the plot, and it will like go back and distract me when I'm trying to edit. So I don't. I might, so I'm not going to say like I never will. I think it'd be interesting, but I don't right now. So.
Never is a very strong word. Never, ever, ever say never. Speaking of Jessica Fry a little bit earlier, Sarah and Kelly, if you want to answer her question, have you found you waited so long to continue a project you could not remember where you were going with it? Was that good or bad? Sarah, can you start this off?
Sorry, Nat, you cut out in the last part of that question. Could you repeat that?
Oh, okay.
Part?
Sure, absolutely. Have you found you waited so long to continue a project you could not remember where you were going with it? Was that good or bad?
Yes, actually. And it's a makes you forgotten of your own writing. You're like, what, was I asleep when I wrote this? What's going on? But I actually think it's in general a good thing. And the reason for it is sometimes you just get a little too close to your work, and it helps to set it down and come back and see it with fresh eyes, I guess. And so information you need to like yourself back on the same page. I think it's sometimes good to just like drop all preconceived notions you had about the story coming in and try something fresh.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Kelly, you have anything to add?
Yeah, I definitely tend to forget details sometimes, and so I'm working on a 3-part series, and I've had to go back and listen to the first book on audio tape just to make sure that, or not audio tape, audible. I had to listen to it to make sure I wasn't forgetting some minor details. Obviously, the major details and characters all stay in your mind, but there were little things that I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't remember that. And, you know, it's also kind of fun to go back and be like, I actually wrote this book. I did this. This is amazing. So you get a little sense of pride, and definitely have needed to reread or listen to my stories again when picking up, and it's been a while. And I typically, when I am writing my novel now, just to get myself like back in the swing of things, I'll read like the previous 2 chapters, or at least the previous chapter as well, just to kind of get going before I really sit down and you know, get a chapter or 2 out.
Sure, absolutely. Because the last thing that you want is, like, let's say that you have a character that has a handbag, and then all of a sudden the handbag disappears, and yeah, absolutely. I completely get it. There is something that was in the live comments, and like I said, those aren't saved, but it is something that I definitely want everybody else that watches these broadcasts at a later date to know. This was something by Nenadol. When's the next Wattpad block party, Miss Kelly?
Whoa, whoa! The next Wattpad block party is February 2016, and I will post the sign-up link. Everyone is welcome to sign up. We'll have a limited number of featured authors and readers. However, everyone is welcome to sign up, and just to give you a quick heads up, it's not based, selection is not based on how many followers you have or do not have. It's not based on if you have completed works or not. There's a number of things to consider, and one of the most important is how often you interact with your readers and with other Wattpadders. So just keep that in mind, and I will put the link on the Hangout page as well as on my Wattpad page, Facebook, and Twitter, with the corner.
Is there anybody that you know of that you could like name drop that will definitely be there?
Ooh, let me look on my list, and I will let you know.
Okay, all right, yeah, absolutely. Sure. So that does bring us to question number 2, and please keep asking us questions via the live chat using our hashtag. We love answering them. It definitely gives us that feeling of engagement, which is amazing. So question number 2. Support is a key component to making a comeback. What does your support system do for you exactly? How do they influence your writing? Miss Ashlyn.
All right. So my support system is my family, which they're kind of amazing. They're always the number one thing they do for me, and this is usually my brother, as they listen to me pitch ideas to them and talk through idea after idea after idea. And my brother is literally so patient about just talking things through and just making sure I'm reaching sort of a reasonable conclusion. And, you know, when I feel like just drinking coffee and hiding from the world, my family kind of comes in and encourages me. And really because of them, I'm still trying to get published. My parents really believed in me and just kind of instilled in me this idea that anything was possible and I could chase any dream that I wanted. And so I really appreciated that they did that. And that's kind of shaped how I write and how I pursue writing. So that's been fantastic. Yeah, that's my support system.
That's a great one to have. Thank you so much, Ashlyn. Lindsey.
My biggest support are probably the people that I already talked about in the first one, which is the class of 2014 and my roommate, because I usually filter through my roommate before I go to them because I don't want to like sound completely stupid and have like this really lame idea. So I use my roommate as a buffer, like, no, that's just stupid. Just forget about that. No. But what I usually do is I'll talk through. I'm like, hey, this is kind of like the idea that I have, and my roommate will be like, well, well, why is this going to happen, like, type of thing. Try and make sure that I have, like, a solid thing. Brittany Charmentine, actually, with The Bridge of Souls, it had helped me with my blurb and my entire first chapter, really. She, like, read it over multiple times, kind of was like, this is something that could probably be tightened up, this could, like, be improved upon. So, I mean, we have, within our group, we have people that help with making covers, we have people that help with blurbs. I mean, pretty much any one of us is really good is like super good at one aspect of, like, everything with writing. So, like, together we make, like, the perfect author and designer and all that. Just those type of people, they help. And as for influencing my writing, I take what they say to heart. So if they say, like, certain things aren't that great, like, oh, you're not really capturing enough emotion with this character, then I take that and I look at what I'm doing and I try to improve on that. So, yeah.
I like the fact that you and your roommate have that dynamic. That is just, it's like 90s sitcom-ish, you know?
We always try to convince each other to
awesome.
kill someone off, so if our other roommates hear our conversation, they might get a little...
Yeah, that's got to be really, really interesting through the paper-thin walls, you know? I have no idea what's going on. Miss Sarah Benson.
Well, like Ash and my family is a huge support, and my parents have been extremely supportive of my writing dreams and have actually been reading the story on Wattpad and commenting and following along, which I totally so much. I didn't expect it per se, but I do appreciate it. And then I've had a lot of friends as well that have been supportive of Wattpad. My husband is my #1 support. It's probably hardest for him because we're so close that, I get really sensitive about my story sometimes, and, so I don't always, take we always work through it, and it's great. So I like Lindsey said, I also draw a lot of support from my writers group, which is the Wattpad class 2014, and she said a lot of the things that we do support each other. So I was a little nervous getting into a writers group in the first place. I had heard too many horror stories of people online and put their writing up there and tried a writers group and just ended up with people that just didn't see the vision of their story or were not kind. Looking for online support group, which can be fantastic. I found that. I think enter it very carefully. You need to do it in a way that you surround yourself with people that motivate you to continue instead of, like, cripple you. So, just make sure that the people that you're with, that they're confident and that they are probably at a similar writing level. You don't want to be the one that's, like, lifting everybody else or always feeling intimidated by everyone around you, although I have to admit my group does. I mean, they're amazing. So it is a little intimidating sometimes being with these people, but and I think that you also need to look for people who are not only nurturing but honest, so that you can trust their advice. And so anyway, these are the things that have helped me. And as for what it does for me, I think that when people believe in you, it goes so far. It really does, because I think every writer can relate that there are times when you just start to question everything. Success you've had. I mean, I've read this in books before too. People who've been, like, New York Times best-selling authors, and then they think the next book's gonna be the one where everyone drops me and no one likes my writing anymore. And we tend to, like, psych ourselves out. And so I think having people who just, like, are 100% behind you no matter what is excellent. It's, like, necessary. And also, make friends with writers that make you want to bring up your game and improve, and when you're around people like that, you cheer for their successes, but you also, like, want to be more successful because you're around those people. So yeah, definitely makes you want to grow as an author. It doesn't like keep you in some complacent, stagnant state.
Absolutely. And I think you said something really interesting, which is with Jessica, she was talking about with her husband, they act out fight scenes together. And I think that's just, it's really amazing that you can have somebody that's so close to you be that invested in what you're doing, what you're so incredibly passionate about. Now, I think it kind of cuts both ways on this, though. While they can promote and encourage you and do so many things that are amazing and wonderful, I think some of the best people that are in your support system are actually the ones that know when to leave you the hell alone. And I think it happens with writers who get really, really inundated with the work, and but inundated in the most wonderful way possible. And they just really strive to make or craft the best story possible, and they lose themselves in it. But at the same time, it's what makes great storytelling. As far as, you know, you got to lose yourself in the plot. You got to lose yourself in the characters. But when you do, you're usually not the best person to be around. And so yeah, I think those kind of people that are in your life that are close, it's not that they just that they only give you the encouragement and the compliments and everything that you need as far as building yourself up, but they also know when to kind of take a step back and just like, oh, Sarah's in the zone right now, so I should probably take 2 steps back and just watch from afar for just, you know, a few moments. Kelly, what about you?
So much like the other panelists, definitely friends and family are really important. And my main, I would say, source of support is in regards to writing, with the in addition to friends and family, is definitely the Wattpad community. And you know, it's everything from a really nice message to comments that I read and constructive criticism. It's just the Wattpad community is always there for you. There's always someone out there that's willing to, you know, listen to you if you run a story idea by them, or to even, I've got one reader, Miss Jackson, and she's amazing, and she always points out, and it's totally like we've talked about it, I'm like, please do, but she always points out when like I'll write things in tree instead of 3, or you know, something like that where my eyes have read over it and I don't see it, and so she'll go through and she always helps me find little areas that I need to clean up. And you know, even my good buddy April Baker, who's a Wattpad superstar, she's always there when I need to run an idea by her, and she is just so super helpful. So I'm really, really grateful. And they definitely, my support system definitely influenced me in a number of ways when it comes to writing. And, you know, sometimes I'll think about mannerisms or describing something of a character in my book, and I might think, oh, that reminds me of, you know, and it'll be one of my friends or family or support system Wattpad community. And so definitely I find people in real life within my characters. And also, you know, I'll do things where I'll be like, hey guys, I need help. I need to come up with a name for a boy, and it has to start with the letter C. Please help me. And so, you know, the community will come out, and I think I got like 100 messages and comments with all these really cool ideas, and oh, try this, how about this name, how about that name, and so then I ended up using one of those names in my work in progress under, so that was really good. And I think the main thing is that everyone within my support system encourages me to keep up the pace and to continue writing, which is always super helpful. And guess what? I know the Wattpad block party, one of the superstars is joining us for the next one, which I'm super excited about. So it is the one, the only Natasha Preston, who author of The Cellar, an amazing book, other amazing books on Wattpad. So
I want like a grenade sound effect or like an explosion, because like, that name is huge. Like seriously,
it's amazing. Awesome. So I'm super pumped. I tried to share the link on the Hangout page, and I guess you cannot share links in comments. So I put it on Twitter, and I'll put it on Wattpad and my Facebook pages in just a minute as well. And I put the Corner Booth Watt hashtag after it. So check it out.
Awesome. Yes, please. Please check it out because it is an amazing experience for not only the people who participate, but everybody who comments or just, really gives something back to these writers that have done something amazing. They've shared their story, and I think the most interesting thing that I saw during the block party was just the camaraderie, and I think that was just really really wonderful. So I can't wait for the next one, Kelly. It should be really really awesome. So this is question number 3. We got about 15 minutes left. Holy moly, we got through that fast. Once you get back into the flow of things, how do you keep yourself from drifting? Miss Ashlyn.
All right. So I personally, if I find myself drifting, I remind myself why I'm writing, and I figure out why I'm committed to the idea, why I believe the story that I'm telling needs to be told, and I just keep that at the forefront of my mind. When I commit to writing a book, it's usually always because I have a strong emotional tie to the subject. And with that emotional tie comes the knowledge that I need to keep working, and I need to kind of keep putting one metaphorical foot in front of the other because that story has a reason and a purpose for being told, and I need to stay true to that purpose and kind of give voice to the issue that I'm tackling. So, yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. Miss Lindsay.
My technique is probably a little bit different than what most people do, but mine is if I find myself drifting, I go to another story. So I'm currently, I think I may have said, I'm currently writing like 6, 7 stories, something like that, because I find it hard to focus on just one. So if I start drifting on one, then I know that it's time to go to the next one. So, I mean, my updates are slower that way, but it helps me keep going so that I don't stop writing if I run out of ideas, and I can just move on to another one where maybe ideas have formed for that one.
Very nice, very nice. Miss Sarah.
The best thing I've done is set up a schedule and stick to it, because life throws all sorts of things at you, and it's like there's a show on Netflix or there's fun activity going on, and it's very easy to talk yourself out of things if you don't have expectations for yourself that you just nailed in place. So, just for example, when I was writing Born in Shadow, I actually broke it down with a calendar as to what I held myself to that, and that was how I got through it. And some writers have certain word counts. I know I was following on the Rita and I think maybe Jody were talking about where they were at the word count for the day. I think that's so awesome. You have to have a way of like measuring what it is that you hope to accomplish, whether it be a certain number of chapters, a certain number of words, or whatever it is. It probably will happen. And then the other thing that really helped me was Wattpad. Wattpad's awesome because when you have your readers who you love, and they will hound you if you tell them, I will do this, and then don't follow through. So you're holding yourself accountable. Like I said, I'd post Monday, Wednesday, Friday for Born in Shadow. And do you know, I actually stuck to that schedule all the way through that book. I did not have done that.
You didn't Wednesday, Friday all the way through?
Yeah, well, I had written it beforehand, but it was like a first draft, and so then what I would do is like the day or two before I was gonna post, I would like go through and edit it and beef it up if I needed to, whatever. And I did make some changes on the fly based on feedback, so those are the more challenging chapters. Schedule and met every single deadline because I had promised them and I held myself to it. And I know, like I said, that I wouldn't have stuck with it had I not set something in place. And so it's like I'm at the beginning of outlining a few more stories and coming up with a schedule for myself so that I can be successful with this and see it through. So that's my opinion, is that I also love what Lindsay said too about having multiple stories, because if you have only one and you're at a place where you just can't figure it out, if you have something else you can jump to, oftentimes it kind of like if the problem fixes itself, when you're asleep or in your mind or whatever, and then you have the answer and you can like jump back to that. So that's another really good bit of advice.
Oh, Absolutely. And I love what you said about Wattpad accountability, because it's definitely there. And if you're having trouble with the whole being held accountable things, just start posting your story on Wattpad. People will give you a kick in the pants when you need it. Miss Kelly.
So we were talking about this a little bit before we went on air, but just about kind of drifting, and how we were talking about how having like a 3-day weekend would be super beneficial, or perhaps like another 8 hours in every single day, because it can be really hard. It's difficult, when you work. Like, I work like 50 hours a week some days, and I still have some issues because of my shingles, and I really like to snuggle on the couch and watch Netflix with my husband and our furry family. So it's definitely a challenge to keep from drifting, for sure. But the big thing, and it goes right along with what Sarah was saying, was getting a routine going and sticking to it. So I find holding myself accountable by saying I'm going to update 1 chapter a week. And that way, if I can do more, great. And if I am really struggling, I know that I've put it out there, and I know that the Wattpad community will be like, it's been a week. Get it together. Put your chapter up now. So, I find making goals and schedules and sticking to them is really important. And then I try and do things like, on the days that I'm not writing, I try and spend time on Wattpad and Facebook and Twitter and respond to questions and comments that people have left for me, messages that people have sent me, and, interacting and reading other authors' stories. So definitely accountability through scheduling, and letting the Wattpad community know your updating schedule is the way to go, for me at least.
It's definitely something that's widely held. I mean, you can't be on your own with that one. That's a good routine to have. Now we're over to the part of the broadcast that we call Pass the Salt. And honestly, it's an honest observation, opinion, quote, or factoid in 140 characters or less. If you like them, please tweet them out using our hashtag. I know this panel would love to see, their little inklings on digital medium. Ashlyn, what do you got for us this week?
Okay. Mine is short to make up for the last one, which was like this huge paragraph that no one could have tweeted. So it's,
you could have broken it up. It was a really good quote.
That's true. Okay. It's remember why writing was worth it for you.
I like it. Miss Lindsay.
Mine is getting back up is only half the battle, but it's worth it.
That it is. Miss Sarah?
All right. If the story inspired you once, you can find your inspiration again. Just believe in yourself.
I love that. That's kind of like, well, it's a more a brighter version of that quote. If it happens once, then it can happen again. I think that was an Eisenhower quote, but that's at the Holocaust Museum, so there is a kind of a stolen thing. But I like your brightness to it, so thank you for making it a lot more chipper. Miss Kelly.
So this is a quote from one of my favorite authors from one of my favorite books of all times, which is Ink Spell, written by Cornelia Funk. It's amazing. If you haven't read it yet, do it. Here's the quote. Stories never really end, even if the books like to pretend they do. Stories always go on. They don't end on the last page any more than they begin on the first page.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's 160 characters. Sorry, I'm slightly over. But...
we'll give you 20 characters. It's worth it.
Talking to Thomas Bonnick, I mean, they both like to cheat so much. I'm telling you. Before the broadcast, we were trying to explain the whole the boggle thing. And Kelly was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna find a way how to cheat. Just you watch me." Just you watch.
I asked if we could use like a word scrambler thing on the computer, or to put it out there that we couldn't use it, so it'd be fair.
Yeah. I'm sure that's what it was, Kelly. I'm sure that's what it was. We're winding down, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on our premiere episode for Season 2. We're really, really excited about this season. It should be hopefully a lot of fun for y'all as well. We have some really, really great people coming in, including, I just heard about this today, but Sir Owen Glenn will be joining us very, very soon, which is awesome. So super excited about that. I do want to let you know, if you just can't get enough of the whole writing experience, we have our buddies over at The Word Nerds. They start up in about 5 minutes. I'm not exactly sure what they're talking about. I'm going to try to get their schedule so we can do like a little back-to-back kind of thing. Lindsay, what do you got for us?
So the Wattpad class of 2014, as we've been talking about changing our name. So we've posted on our Wattpad profile the top 3 names that our group has come up with, and we are asking the fans, people, to say which one they think is their favorite. So there's 3 different hashtag handles that they can tweet out on Twitter, and we'll be looking at that. And at the end of it, if you tweet out by this Tuesday, there is a chance to win an ebook by Sarah Benson.
Ooh, that's a good prize. I like it. So that's gonna be really cool. I'm gonna totally vote for that. You said that it's gonna take the entire week.
We have them up now currently, and voting goes through Tuesday the 29th. So tomorrow and the
2
following
days.
day.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
2 more days.
So let's kind of go over those next 2 days. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Wattpad 4 will be hosting a weekly Twitter chat. It's a lot of fun, so go check them out as well. We love Miss Rebecca Sky. She's a panelist, or a guest panelist that comes on and just wows us every single time because she's just so lovely. Rebecca, we love you. And also on Tuesday at, I believe it's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard as well, we are going to be doing the last of the Corner Booth writing sprints. The way that it works is we split up the hour into 15-minute sections. You write as much as you can in those 15 minutes. It's been a lot of fun, and hopefully you get some words out of that. It's not all going to be pretty and amazing, but sometimes the best thing to do is get as much as you can on paper or LCD screen, and then sift through it afterward and see what you got after all of the buffering and the shining and all of that is concerned. So we do hope to see you then. I do want to plug our little friends over at Just Write It on Wattpad. It's a hashtag that's available on Facebook and Twitter. It is a pledge to write 10,000 words in 30 days. This last cycle is almost up. So if you think that you can do some crazy sprint to the end, I'm pulling for you. I believe in you. But they are doing a special thing for the Waddies this year. And essentially what they're going to be doing is they will be giving an award just for the Just Write It program for the month of September. So you got 3 days. Get something out on paper, get something out on Wattpad, and see what happens. I think wow, we're done. We're done with episode 26. We started season 2. It's crazy. Well, that is. Thank you so much, Wattpad Nation. Thank you. This has been amazing. Jody Petrella actually said they are doing writing sprints over at the Word Nerds. So go check them out. They're really, really cool. We love Erin Latimer. She's one of the Wattpad 4. She's pretty awesome, and they got some really, really great talent over there too. So definitely check them out. Ladies, if you would tell Wattpad Nation good night.
Good night.
Good night. Bye, everyone. Good night.
Night, everybody.